Well, politicians may have a problem on their hands. Again, a new poll shows what Americans are most concerned about heading into the new year. And believe it or not, it is not the economy. Topping the list, 18% say the biggest problem actually lies on Capitol Hill with our elected officials. Let's bring in Angela McGlowan. She's a Fox News political analyst, and Ben Wikler. He's a senior strategist for MoveOn.org. You know, this does say a lot about the confidence the American people have in the president's ability to see it both ways, and when something reaches a Republican Congress and then falls on the desk of our Democratic president, he doesn't necessarily like to agree with Republicans on just about everything. Angela?
You're exactly right. And I'm not surprised, Julie, that government is the #1 issue. Americans have had a rude awakening. It's been a very costly one, but with the dysfunction in Congress and then also the politics being played by the White House, it's been a costly experience where Americans now know government plays a role in every aspect of our lives. And I think they're a little afraid that President Obama will not work with the Republican Congress, as you just said.
Okay, so then you tell me, Ben, I mean, what is going to give? I mean, Angela actually in her talking point surprised me. She says this president should be a little bit more like Bill Clinton and listen to Republicans.
You know, I think this president's doing a lot of listening, and what he's hearing from the American people
is he really on
is that
what?
They want on things like immigration, on things like climate change, the public, Obamacare, the public wants a government that actually works for them. And I think when you look at this poll, you see a public that feels like the government is working for special interests, for Wall Street banks, you know, for people with armies of lobbyists and lawyers rather than for middle-class families.
Okay, Ben,
there's a reason why the president has tripled the approval ratings of Congress right now. It's because he's at least trying to do something about the problems that face each of us in our everyday lives. That's what the government needs to do to get the people's trust. And selling out to Wall Street banks is not the way to do it.
Angela?
Ben, it's because of President Obama's failed policies and the fact that Harry Reid lost his job as majority leader. He didn't even pass a budget. If you want the House and the Senate to work together, the Senate needs to pass something. But under the auspices of the politics of President Obama, Democrats marched in line. Bill Clinton signed 70% of the contract with America. That was a capital gains tax cut. It gave so much to the American people where they were in more control of their pocketbooks than the federal government. So I'm hopeful that President Obama, if he really cares about his legacy, which we know he does, he will work with the Republican Congress to help him.
Okay, I just want to show you guys a poll. Ben, maybe you can comment on this because it's a Fox News poll that tells you how the American public feels about the congressional job performance, Republicans versus Democrats. And if you take a look at the bottom left-hand number, you've got the disapprove, 64% Democrats in Congress, 66% disapprove Republicans in Congress. It doesn't seem that anyone has any trust in Congress, whether it's Democratic or Republican-led. So how are any decisions then supposed to be made if there's such little trust in our government?
Well, Julie, one thing I can say about
let me jump in to Ben first. Go ahead, Ben.
Go ahead.
Typical Americans have seen their wages flat for the last 30 years. Young people can't afford to buy a house. They can barely afford to pay their student loans. And when they look at Congress, in both parties, they don't see a lot of leadership for tackling those kinds of issues. I think if Republicans as well as Democrats want to make a serious dent in how the public feels about them, they need to start focusing on issues that affect regular people and not just special interests.
All right, Angela, real quick, then we got to go.
Republicans should not vote 50 times to repeal Obamacare, okay? We got it the first couple of times. They wasted tax dollars. Democrats did the same in fighting. What Americans want to do now, what they want to see is actually Republicans and Democrats work together to create a better America, a more prosperous America.
All right, Angela McGlowan, Ben Wikler, thank you very much for your comments. We appreciate it. Thank you.